always ask me, son, what does it take to reach out and touch your dreams? To them I always say, are you hungry? Are you thirsty? Is it a fire that burns you up inside? How bad do you want it?
So today I'm working on this side of the car. This side doesn't have, Dad didn't do a full rear quarter. He just did some patchwork because this side was in better shape than the other side. But I've just been working on his patches over here. And there's another little one behind the rear tire. And I've got all that done. Now I'm working on this rocker, and there are holes in the rocker. You can see there's one there, and you can see there's two down here, and there's two there and there and there. There's holes all over in here. The body shop that worked on this car must have been a really bad shop, because they just run screws into a trim piece. There's a trim piece that goes under here. Me and Dad have both agreed that we're eliminating that trim piece on here. So we're gonna weld up all these holes, but these holes shouldn't be here. That's not how this trim is held on here. There should be little tabs. I believe here should have been one, and there should have been one like there, and all the way down. And the trim kind of hooked onto that. There might have been a couple holes for the factory trim, but these guys just self-tapping screws, I think, and screwed the trim back on, which is not the way you should be doing it. But anyway, they made a whole bunch of these holes, and now I gotta weld them up. So that's what I'm doing right now. Gonna get them welded up, and then I'm gonna get the grinder out, grind them down. So I got all my holes welded up, and welding this old thin metal is not easy. I got the welder turned all the way down. This older metal really wants to kind of blow up if you run too hot of a setting. So got them welded up. Now I'm going to grind them down. So I like to use a little grinder like this when I'm grinding little welds that I do on sheet metal. The reason I like to do that is because I like to be able to control what I'm grinding, and I just want to grind the weld. I don't want to grind the sheet metal because the sheet metal is fairly thin, and if you use like a big disc or a grinder or something, you have a tendency of taking a lot more than if you use something like this. This guarantees all you're taking or all you're grinding is the weld you put on there. So that's what I like to use, something like this, or I guess we got a bigger one here. Something like this works too. The little one's easier to control, but yeah, I find this works the best. So I believe I got all the welding done on this thing, finally. The only thing left to do really for paint wise is I gotta sand the rockers underneath. Get them all sanded down a little bit, and with the 120 probably. And then I'll be doing the rust treatment. And I did get the stuff from Eastwood finally. They shipped it out and I got it, so I'll show you what I'm going to use there. Okay, so this is what I've got from Eastwood. I got this fast etch rust remover. So we're going to give that a try on the surface rust that's on the car. And then I've got their epoxy primer. It's a two-part deal. There's part B right here. You got to mix that 1-to-1. But that's the epoxy primer that's going to be going on the bare metal. And then I also picked up while I was there, I got some guide coat so we can start doing a little bit of body work. We ain't going to do a whole lot of body work on this thing. Basically just going to get it into primer, and then we're going to get this thing running and driving. So that's the plan, guys. That's it for me right now today. I am beat from welding, grinding, and all that. So I'm going to call it a day for today. Okay, so I got my rockers finished up. They're all sanded out. So now I'm going to start on the roof here. I'm going to start using this rust converter stuff. This is by Eastwood. It's called Fast Etch. And you can see this is what they say it does. So we're going to use that. The idea is I'm going to put it in this cup here. I'm going to use this brush. I'm going to brush it on the roof here. And then this stuff has to stay on the metal for like 30 minutes. So what I'm going to do is once I kind of brush some on, I'm going to use my paper towel. I'm going to lay it over it. And I'm going to kind of get that all wet too. And we're going to leave this on there for 30 minutes. I'm going to try to do this in sections. I'll probably do the roof here. Then I'll go back here and do the sail panel there. And then maybe the trunk and then the fenders. I don't know. But that's my idea on how to do this. And I'm going to get started here. Okay, so this is my first time using this stuff. It's not quite going as I planned, but oh, you can see it's drying and it's kind of turning into this white haze or whatever all over the metal. I've tried to clean it up and there's still some wet areas and it needs to be completely dry, otherwise I can't even wipe it with anything. So it's going to take quite a bit of wiping to get this all the way off the car, but it's got to completely dry, I think. But I'm working my way around here and I'm just I've got some towels set up here and I'm just kind of brushing it on every so often, keeping it wet for 30 minutes like it's saying. But yeah, that's what I'm getting. Kind of looks like a mess, but this side here is still kind of wet from the application, but the roof here, when it dries, it turns into that haze, white haze or whatever. Pretty sure you got to wipe all that off once it dries and then you can prime it, but gonna be a lot of wiping. Almost done here. It's got this deck lid to do. And then later on I might do this back piece. I ain't gonna do that right now though. I'm just gonna finish off this deck lid and then I'm gonna let this dry and wipe it all off. It says to use acetone or paint prep. I've got my paint prep there. I might go get some acetone maybe, see if that works better than my paint prep that I have. I have a Nason paint prep, but we'll see here. I'll report back on what's going on. Okay, so I'm getting this thing ready for the epoxy primer and kind of taping everything off. You can see what that stuff did to the metal. It looks dirty, but I can't, it won't come off. So I even tried, we tried acetone and it doesn't take it off. So that must be right into the metal there. So I guess I'm going to prime over that. So hopefully that doesn't mess anything up, but I've never used that fast etch before, so we'll see, I guess, once this epoxy goes on there. And you're supposed to do the fast etch and then you're supposed to prime it. I was going to do some body work in some areas here, but I don't want to stick the body work over that fast etch. It doesn't really say you can use or do body work over that, so we're going to I'm going to epoxy prime it first, then we'll do some quick body work. So that is what I'm working on right now, taping off, and some more taping off. So I will. Okay, so a little tip here. on what kind of tape to use. I find this this Scotch tape, this green stuff, works excellent for body work. It sticks really well to just about anything, and it pulls off clean. So, you know, really like this green stuff. This is the only stuff I use is this green stuff. It might be a little more expensive, definitely worth it. And then I'm using newspaper. I know some people say not to use newspaper or whatever, but I get a lot of it for free. So I used it. I really haven't had any trouble with the newspaper bleeding through or anything. So that's what I use. Okay, so finally we're ready to spray here. I had Dad help me run around and scuff everything really good. I got it wiped down. Pretty much just got to blow this thing off before I paint. And used 55-gallon garbage bags to cover the wheels up. That worked out pretty well. But I've got the underside masked off too. So I pretty much got everything masked off that needs to be masked off. And we are ready to mix the paint up. So I told you what I was going to use before. Some Eastwood epoxy primer. This is 1-to-1 primer. And the, I guess they're calling this catalyst. So 1-to-1 on that. I'm going to mix it up. Get my gun, blow the car off. And we're going to start spraying this finally. Been a long, long sanding road here. You gotta mix this stuff up really good when you get it. I wish I had a paint shaker. Probably should invest in one of those. But you can see it's kind of clumpy. You want to mix this up really good. Okay, so the first coat of primer is on. It says half hour to an hour flash time. Not exactly sure why it's such a big variance, but the body work that it needs is very evident now, with a little bit of a shiny color on it. But I'm going to probably put 2 more coats on and we'll call it good. Okay, so we're finally done. I put 3 coats on this thing. Looks pretty good. The roof looks awesome. There's just a tiny little dent somewhere around here. Rest of it looks really good. The rest of this is going to need some body work, but it's looking good. I'm happy with it. I am beat. I'm going to go rest while this dries up. Tomorrow we'll start on some body work, putting some Bondo down. That's going to do it for me on this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next one.